Hey, let me start by telling you a truth that most men only realize when it's already too late. This is a harsh truth, but you need to hear it to wake up. In this day and age, attraction doesn't die when two people meet face to face during awkward dates. It dies right in the palm of your hand, within soulless lines of text. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine this scenario, because I know for sure you've experienced it at least once in your life. You meet a girl, maybe at a cafe with a very chill atmosphere, maybe at a vibrant party where the two of you actually had a real conversation, or maybe you just matched on Tinder or Hinge and this time, the banter is truly rhythmic and engaging. You feel that spark, a rush of dopamine running down your spine. You get her phone number, you walk away feeling like a king and tell yourself, great, I've succeeded. She likes me already. And then, the texting war begins. At first, everything seems to be on the right track. A few messages back and forth, some emojis, quick replies appearing even before you have time to put your phone down. But then, slowly, in an extremely subtle way, something starts to feel off. The conversation becomes dry, bland, and covered in dust. Her replies start taking 2 hours instead of 2 minutes. The energy just takes a nosedive, and suddenly, the connection that felt so vivid and full of hope at the beginning completely vanishes into thin air. You're left with a seen status for 14 hours, and you sit there staring at the blue bubbles on the screen. Your mind reeling with a dozen questions. Did I say something wrong? Did I double text? Was I too eager? What the hell happened to that spark? Listen to me. The problem usually isn't that you aren't a great guy or that you aren't interesting. The problem is that you completely fail to understand the psychology behind how texting actually works. Because texting is not like talking in person. You don't have the tone of voice to show you're joking. You don't have body language to show relaxation. You don't have a warm smile to soften a sarcastic remark. It's just cold, rigid lines of text on a glowing screen. It is extremely easy to be misunderstood, and if you aren't careful, you will cross the line from a cool guy to a bland and needy one in the blink of an eye. Today, we are going to fix this once and for all. We will analyze exactly the mechanics of texting women without being awkward, without being boring, and most importantly, without turning yourself into a digital soulmate just for her to confide in when she's sad. Before we dive into what words you should type, we need to completely restructure how you view the device in your pocket. This is where 90% of men make their first and most fatal mistake. They think texting is where the relationship actually happens. They get a girl's number and immediately try to build a massive tower of attraction through long walls of text. They try to have deep philosophical conversations, searching for souls via iMessage or Zalo. They try to prove how smart, funny, and knowledgeable they are through long paragraphs. Gentlemen, you can never build a castle on a bridge. Remember this well. Texting is not where attraction flourishes most. Raw attraction must bloom in the real world. It grows through prolonged eye contact. It grows through physical presence and the way you lead the encounter. It grows when she can feel your calm, masculine energy in the same room. Texting is merely a bridge connecting one real-life moment to the next. Its only real job is to keep the connection warm and maintain anticipation and curiosity until the next time you meet in person. When you truly internalize that, everything becomes much easier. Anxiety simply vanishes. You stop trying to perform like a circus act on a phone screen. You stop overthinking every comma or emoji. You realize that your goal is not to entertain her for 6 hours a day like a digital clown. Your goal is just to spark her emotions in a fun way and then put the phone down to go live your own real life. Now, let's talk about the most common way men kill the vibe even before it has a chance to start. I bet most of the brothers listening to this have done it at least once. That is turning the message thread into a job interview. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It usually starts with the laziest and most boring openers on the planet. You text, "Hey babe, how was your day?" She replies, "It was good. I'm a bit tired." You ask again, "Oh, great. So what did you do today?" She replies, "Just worked." "Really?" You continue, "Nice. So what do you do for a living?" Stop right there. Just look at that for a second. Do you see what's happening? You are interrogating her. You are extracting her data like a tax official. Listen, questions are not bad, but when the entire conversation is just you trying to fish for information, it starts to feel like a burden. It feels like an effort to answer. And let me tell you a secret about women: no one wants texting to feel like an obligation or a demographic declaration. If answering you feels like a task on her to-do list, she will eventually stop doing it. So how do we fix this instead of interrogating her with dry, logical questions? You need to use witty assumptions. Let's go back to that conversation. She says, "I just got home from work." Instead of asking the boring question, "How was work?" you make a statement. You say something like, "Congrats to you. Finally survived another chaotic day at the office. I bet you're exhausted now and just dreaming of a deep sleep. Right." Do you see the difference? It's not a question she's forced to answer. It's an observation. It shows your personality. It has a bit of humor and empathy. Now, she can read that message, smile, and say, "Oh my God, exactly. I really want to sleep for a whole week." You've taken a boring, logical topic and pumped life into it. It feels like two real people teasing each other, not an interrogation under bright lights. The next mistake is the one that silently kills attraction in the dark, and most men don't even realize they're doing it because it usually happens when they are panicking. That is the fear of silence. You know that moment. You send a message. You think it's a good one, maybe a bit risky or funny. A few minutes pass. An hour passes. You see she just viewed your Instagram story. She's clearly holding her phone, but she hasn't replied to your message yet. And suddenly, your brain starts spinning like a car without brakes on ice. Why hasn't she replied yet? Did I say something too far? Or was that joke not funny? Maybe she didn't get my point, or should I explain it again? And that's when disaster strikes. The double text. You send a second message to try to fix that silence. Maybe a random meme to push the conversation to the top. Maybe a ha 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 anyway to try to retract what you said before. Gentlemen, this is exactly when texting becomes extremely uncomfortable for her, because now the conversation is no longer flowing naturally. It is being forced by your insecurity. You are showing her loud and clear that you are anxious. And let's be honest, anxiety is the number one enemy of confidence. Listen to me. Sometimes silence is a wonderful thing. Sometimes silence is necessary. Everyone has their own life. They have jobs that require focus. They put their phones on do not disturb. They go to the gym. They take naps. Or sometimes they just simply don't want to talk to anyone for a few hours. Sometimes a pause actually builds healthy curiosity and tension. If you send a flirty message and she doesn't reply for 3 hours, let that tension hang in the air. Don't try to fill every gap in the conversation. Relax. Put your phone in another room. Go lift weights. Go cook. Do something with your life. Attraction grows infinitely better in a relaxed, detached energy than in a needy and suffocating one. This is another big trap that nice guys always fall into. It's the constant check-in style of texting throughout the day. Good morning? Have you eaten lunch? Have a good afternoon at work? Good night. At first, when you start talking to someone new, this might seem exciting, right? It feels like you're building a solid bond, but gradually something strange and toxic happens. The conversation loses its heartbeat. It just becomes a flat line of repetitive and predictable social pleasantries. You're no longer a romantic prospect. You've turned into her online pen pal. The truth is, attraction needs space to breathe to exist. It needs a bit of mystery. If she knows exactly what you're doing at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. every day, there's nothing left for her to wonder or be curious about you. There's no space for her to miss you. You become too predictable, and predictability is the grave of romance. Instead of texting her constantly like an alarm clock, you want your name appearing on her phone to be an exciting event. You want her to see your name and think, "Oh, I wonder what he's saying now." Have a brief, fun, high-energy exchange for about 10 minutes, and then you be the one to end it. Say, "Hey, I got to get back to finishing this project. Talk later." And then actually go do your work. When you come back after a day or two, the interaction will feel completely fresh, exciting, and full of life, because you haven't exhausted the energy of the conversation every hour. So, change your tactics. How should you actually text? What does attractive, high-value texting look like? It truly rests on two main pillars: playful energy and proportionality. Let's start with playfulness. Some brothers try too hard to be impressive, poetic, or too serious over text. They send heavy, dramatic compliments like, "You're truly the most beautiful and wonderful woman I've ever met." Listen, even if that might be true, It's too heavy for a regular Tuesday afternoon message. It's too much and too soon. Attraction responds well to playfulness. It responds to the push and pull of teasing instead of a serious direct compliment that puts her on a pedestal. Try a witty tease. If she says she's a bit of a nerd, say something like, "All right, sounds like you're real trouble. I guess I'll have to keep a closer eye on you." Or if she mentions she likes stealing fries from other people's plates, you say, "Note taken. I'm never taking you to a restaurant unless I wear a suit of armor to protect my food." Can you feel the difference? It feels much lighter. It invites her to play back. It shows you are confident enough to joke with her instead of just worshipping her. This creates a vibe that everyone wants to be a part of. The second pillar is proportionality in energy, and this is perhaps the easiest rule to follow if you want to maintain your status. It's all about the rhythm. If she sends you short 2-line replies, don't respond with a 6-line paragraph that looks like a college essay. You will look over-invested and desperate. If she takes 4 hours to reply because she's busy, don't reply back in 30 seconds as if you've been glued to the screen just waiting for her. The conversation is most comfortable when the rhythm is balanced. When one person is sprinting while the other is just walking, everything becomes awkward and exhausting for both. Match her investment, match her tone, and the vibe between you two will always be smooth and natural. Now, let's address the situation every guy dreads. The conversation is going great. You two are hitting it off. The jokes are landing, and then suddenly, nothing. Silence, no reply. A few hours pass, a day passes, maybe even 2 days. Rule number 1. No panic texts. No hello. Did I say something wrong, or I guess you're busy? That immediately kills any remaining attraction because it reeks of deep insecurity. Instead, give it time. Let 48 to 72 hours pass. Let things settle down. And when you reconnect, you absolutely must not mention the fact that she didn't reply. Don't acknowledge the gap. Don't say, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while." You just restart the conversation naturally with what I call a high-value bias, low-pressure signal. It should be something simple, random, and observational. For example, "I just saw a dog wearing a tiny sweater that looks exactly like the kind you always wear. Had to tell someone about it." It feels casual, non-demanding, not desperate at all. It gives her an easy and fun way to jump back into the conversation without feeling guilty for being silent before. If she likes you, she will reply to that message. But gentlemen, listen closely. If you've sent that signal and she still only replies with 1 word or continues to ignore you, then let go. Move on. Have some self-respect. Attraction cannot be forced through a phone screen, and your time is too precious to waste on someone who doesn't reciprocate your effort. This is the biggest secret about texting that the experts won't tell you. The guys who are best at this. The ones who seem to always have girls bothering them with texts all day. They aren't the ones trying the hardest. They aren't the ones analysing every comma or sending drafts to a group of friends for opinions before hitting send. They are simply very relaxed. They text as if they are talking to a close friend they've known for years. Texting becomes completely natural the exact moment you stop trying to perform in front of her. But here is the ultimate truth you need to face. Texting is only the beginning. As I said from the start, it is only a bridge. It can help you kindle the flame, but it cannot keep the fire burning forever. Real attraction, the kind that leads to a real relationship, a deep bond, or a long-lasting spark, only grows when you finally have the guts to put the phone down and meet in real life. If your texting skills are a 10 out of 10, but you sit down at that coffee date and you freeze, you run out of things to say, and let the space become terrifyingly silent, she will lose interest immediately. You must know how to lead a real conversation. You must know how to make her feel comfortable, how to escalate romantic tension, and how to connect without making everything awkward or forced. So, if you want to take all the momentum you've just built on the phone and actually transform it into a real-life success story, you need to master the art of being present in person. Stop hiding behind the screen and start showing up with poise in front of her. Put the phone away. Live a life worth telling stories about, and you will see how much easier texting becomes. You have the tools in your hands now. Go and use them.